explosive news, and I have to thank Incho the Sedai for this video on Pierre Poilievre just 51 minutes ago. Well, I'm with my daughter and orthodontics and all that. It's a complete farce, a fabrication of fiction. It's a really good video. I'm recording that one. I'm saving it because it highlights to the Allies of World War II what kind of monsters we got in Canadian politics, those who wish to be Prime Minister of Canada. I want everybody to take a good look at that video. And in it, Pierre Poilievre says, yes, self-government, self-determination on all Indian Act Indians who wish to pull out of the Indian Act. On your reserves, folks. The Indian Act Indians, all numbered treaties in Canada, get 2.2% of the land. 0.2%. Take the population, look at the math. It is by far the lowest land availability even a higher than communist China. The Canadian government, forever and a day, since 1876, placed numbered treaty Indians on the lowest amount of land availability than communist China, whom has 1.1 billion people. Think about that. And they still have more land availability than the numbered treaty Indians of the 1876 Indian Act. And Pierre Poilievre says, don't worry, we're going to allow you resources and money for the land of your reserves. The lowest amount of land availability in the largest country with the least amount of population. Pierre wants them to opt out of the Indian Act so he can keep all the federal and provincial crown land forever for the first-class divine politicians. There is your filthy, dirty, Nazified divine national socialist that can only be compared to one other architect in history, Adolf Hitler and the Jews. That's right, the enabling act decisions of Adolf Hitler from 1933 to 1949, till he shot himself in the face. Pierre Poilievre promises all Indian Act Indians, pretty much every first person, because they're all designed and bound, whether it's Arctic ICC, Intercircumferential Polar Council, or it's the Métis, unsettled rest of Canada outside of Alberta. Whether it's all of them combined, they are all absolutely bound to the Indian Act 1876. And while they give these numbered lands, they write in towns like Edmonton, you can't even understand the language the streets are written in anymore, or provincial constituencies, I can't even pronounce my former constituency's name. It's 22 letters and it's First Peoples, but not one shred of that constituency belongs to any First People of that Cree Nation. Zero, none whatsoever. All thrown into a tiny little community that, yes, Edmonton surrounds now. That's all they get. And Pierre Poilievre says, don't worry, in your major populations, on your tiny reserves, 0.2% of Canada, we're going to give you rights to all that land and the resources on that land. I'm Pierre Poilievre, and I am Adolf Hitler. That's what he's doing. It would be like, listen to me, folks, Adolf Hitler not losing, and all the Jews in all the concentration camps. Hear me out. Don't worry, Jews on the concentration camps. For all you that lived, this is your home. The concentration camp. All the resources you can develop on this concentration camp is yours. I am Adolf Hitler. Am I kind? Am I wonderful? That's the truth. If you don't share this video, if you don't corrupt the poison of this disgusting, perverted crown colonial nut jobs, left, right, center, that only preach more and more creative fictions. They only highlight their diseased minds. This was logged and investigated by the United Nations Security Council. I have the entirety of it saved on my devices up in the clouds. I was going through looking for a paper yesterday, and of course I couldn't remember a word. I'm trying to find this paper. I needed a word trigger to find it, and I got thousands and thousands of papers I've read, and it's scary the amount of information I've read. And guess what I find? The United Nations South Africa entire UNSC historical investigation over so many decades, all of them in fact, before finally arresting all the political parties, the Pierre Poilievre, the Justin Trudeau, the Jagmeet Singh, the Elizabeth May. Arrested them all. Pulled them from the political structure, held them in isolation while they dismembered South Africa. This was entirely USA. Russia, China, who started it first. USA came on board. France came on board. And begrudgingly, when the world turned, then UK finally, the royal family and the government of the UK said, okay, maybe we shouldn't be stringing up South African children and slicing their testicle bags open because they drank out of a white fountain. I guess now we should finally, after 30 years, let Nelson Mandela out of jail. For those who don't know the truth, South Africa did lose private property rights to farmers who are on historical lands of South Africans. But there was a lot of crown land there too, and they don't talk about that portion of it. You don't talk about Canada or Australia or New Zealand, who are still in this Nazified system where a small elite group of people owns 91% of the land. Pierre Poilievre is trying to get you to vote for him so that his special interest groups can utilize all the revenue out of that 91% of land, creating his next utopia of a wealth structure that will make him a multi-millionaire beyond all measure for the rest of his family's life. That's what he's going to do. Like every single prime minister and premier in the history of Canada since 1876. Absolutely. Just go read the Indian Act. Do this, become assimilated, or die. And that is what Pierre Poilievre is essentially saying, like they've all said since the dawn of Canada. And every Canadian subject institutionalized, programmed into believing that having only 9% of the country available to you, your astronomical shitty house prices in some really compact areas, southern Ontario, coastal BC, surrounded by all kinds of unceded land, historical wrongs of the worst magnitude that can only be found in, yes, South Africa during apartheid, or even worse, yes, Nazi Germany during the Enabling Act. And that didn't even go for a very long time. It's great that the world got on that. It's great that everybody fought back. But it never ended in Canada. It's gone on for a tremendous amount of time. A lot longer than the Jews of Germany put up with. As horrific as that was, the First Peoples and even the Canadian subjects have been putting up with it horrifically for more than 150 years. Absolutely since 1876. There's no disputing that. There's no one to come forward to say, hey, anything else. And until Pierre Poilievre brings forward the 3 S's, self-government, self-determination, and settlement of the claims. What does that mean, Canadians? It means we're going to take this that they call Turtle Island, this is UN state called Canada, and we're going to remove that 91% of land that only belongs to your filthy politicians, whomever you elect, because that's your only true right, or get elected to office, is what I propose. But that is what has to be taken from this divine elite who worships themselves and makes you bend a knee to it. Take that 91%, divide it 50-50, settlement of the claims for all the First Peoples. You can't get all of Turtle Island back, but you'll get half. And all Canadians who sit on, literally, honestly, it's only 6%, not even 6% of Canada, because the first class has their fingers in a mass amount of yours too. And the reality is, folks, your wealth will go excrementally higher. Huge, off the charts. If every first person and every Canadian could codify that, sit down, write the constitutions, the First Peoples and the Canadians, the nation within the nation. And again, before anyone says it's lunatic or that's impossible, you're in La La Land. That's the United States entirely. And we can continue on and do something even better and make everybody wealthier beyond any nation in the world. We're only hovering at 40 million people today. Draw the line in the sand. Get it done. That's what we got to do. That's what our party's going to do. Pierre can try to smear it, smudge it, feces all over it, and make it his, and make it genocidal, make it Nazified. National Socialist Fascist. Trudeau will always sell it. Pierre will always sell it. Jagmeet Singh will always sell it. Elizabeth May will always sell it. Every premier will sell it. All the political parties. Maxime Bernier, he sells it too. They all do. All crown sworn. They know what they're doing. These are creative wordsmiths who've learned, brought up in this system, to sell you lies. We're gonna bring it apart. And I hope Canadians wake up. It's got to be done. But don't, and I repeat, don't fall for the lies of the socialist, fascist pigs at the trough. And I'm going to continue my series. I got my song, and I was practicing at my buddy's house yesterday. And of course, I'm juggling my girls all week too, and then I'll be going back to work. But we're going to do these series, Pigs at the Trough. And there's nothing that Pierre Poilievre, Justin Trudeau, Jagmeet Singh can get by me. Not a thing. And they can make all the videos that sound so great. But the proof is in the pudding in that video. On your reserves, meaning not 3 S's, 2 S's on a tremendously very little amount of land. So little, in fact, communist Chinese have much more, at 1.1 billion in China, and they're 20%, than all numbered Indians in Canada. Not Aboriginal, not Indigenous, Indians. And it comes where? From their legislation, the 1876 Indian Act. If you haven't read it, folks, read it. You have a Nazified system of governance, crown colonial, because it's 1867. Constitutional monarchy, old world order, the preamble of the Canadian Constitution. Call it the preliminary. Clearly introduces Canada as for the benefit of the British Empire. That don't exist anymore. Who's the British Empire? Who's the Nazified, which was Nazi Germany under that system? A pre-League of Nations system that was only transformed post-World War II by largely Russia and USA. And now we're right back to it. Canada's never left it. And a lot haven't left it. And they want, for the benefit of the British Empire, that's the benefit of their own Nazified selves. That's liberal, Conservative, NDP, Green, Bloc, PPC, all the provincial parties, does not matter. They've all bent the knee. They've all swore the oath to it, just as all the Nazis did, every party. If you didn't, you were arrested. Just as all of what was South Africa apartheid, just as every single constitutional monarchy of the age of empires, all crown colonial. Spain, Italy, Japan, what were they? Axis colonial powers. The Allies had the Allied colonial powers. World War I and World War II were wars of colonial crown constitutional monarchies. That's my video. Share, share, share. Bye now.